And this is where I'm standing at the moment. There's my feet. That's what's all around me. All that growth. And it's about, I'm 5'10", so that growth is about, it's taller than me. That growth is taller than me in the distance. And you have the church. And I've come from up there to try and make a way down and a path through all those thorns. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My first video here back in Ireland since we've been to Paris. I have a couple of videos up there from Paris on a playlist if you'd like to watch those. But for today, if some of you might remember this old graveyard here in Rahespic in County Wexford. Now the reason I'm back here today is to show you what has been done here. Remarkable efforts put in here to this old graveyard. It has been tidied up. It's a work in progress. It hasn't been finished yet. Very historical old graveyard. And as you can see, I'll bring you around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The area has been cleaned. All that overgrowth has been cut down so we can actually walk around and read some of these old graves that were covered for years upon years, and I don't think they've ever been read in a long time. So you can just see where the grass was, all that area there has been cut. So we're going to walk around and read a couple of the old headstones and show you what work has been done here. Now I want to give a big shout out to Willie. Willie is local here in the area, good friend of myself and Sue, and it's actually Willie that came in here and done this voluntarily to cut down all the overgrowth here in the graveyard. So well done to Willie. And I will be in a future video actually maybe bringing Willie. I've been speaking to Willie. I'm going to bring him on video and I'll have a chat with him and he can tell you all about the work that's been done here as well. So that'll be interesting to do in the near future. But for now we are going to walk around. There's also a crypt that was covered over here with overgrowth. We can actually walk down and see the door of that crypt, and I'll tell you a little bit about that when I get there as well. Big connections here to Johnstown Old Castle. So we'll read these guys as we go around. So here lies the body of Mrs. Anne Paul, who departed this life on the 6th day of December 1839, aged 78 years old. So it's very near the road and the roundabout. You can see the traffic is coming and going there. So just like this one here beside the road was completely covered over, you wouldn't even know it was there. So thankfully today we can read these ones. So this is in memory of William Moody of Rahespic House, and this is Rahespic Graveyard, who died January 1888. Also Charlotte, his wife, and she died in 1898. So there's some beautiful graves here that have been hidden away for years, and we can just see this one here, the wrought iron railing that goes around it. Some old ones. You can see this one here was completely covered over. Willie has taken away all the overgrowth of this. We can see the red brick around it. So there's still lots of work to be done here, and I'm actually going to get stuck into this as well. I will be here someday this week with Willie, myself and Willie. We'll be doing a job on this, cleaning it up as well. So I just wanted to take you around today just to give you a glimpse of what's happening and the way things are going in the project here. Another one that was covered up just here as well. This is Thomas Bailey of Murntown, who died in 1866, aged 52 years old. All this area, all here, was completely covered. We can now actually walk. It's amazing. We can walk around this area, which we couldn't do before. So as we come around, I'll show you what I'm talking about. The work Willie has done here, a marvellous job he's done. Really, really hats off to Willie. Amazing guy. As I was saying, he comes in here on his own accord. You know, he's doing this as a goodwill gesture. And I will show you as we look around. So here we can see where the overgrowth has been cut out of the old graveyard here. This is what it looked like before. And this is what it looks like now. We can actually read these old inscriptions that we couldn't do before. It's amazing. And this is to the memory of Mary Richards, who died on April the 29th, 1890. Also her beloved son, John Richards, who died in 1919, aged 47 years old. So you can see all these old chest tombs. And all these chest tombs were completely covered. It was about 6 or 7 feet tall, the overgrowth here. So none of these would have been seen by anybody. You wouldn't even know there was people buried here. We have some more tombs here now. We are going to, the overgrowth has to be pulled back off those. So that's what I'll be doing here with Willie during the week. But a lot of the work here has been done by Willie, so he gets a really big shout out for that. So we can just see here there's parts of old graves as well, kind of like cast iron design. Mary Ann Power, who died, looks like 19 something. It's hard to read there, and the age has kind of gone off it. But these ones here up against the wall were not seen. You know, we have Moses Power, who died in 1924, age 44. Beautiful iron ones here. We have here Hannah Kearns, died in 1901, aged only 1 year old. John died March the 11th, 1901, age, wow, 6 years old. So here we have, guys, 2 little children, a boy and a girl, who died the same month and the same year, only 7 days, 1 week apart, a brother and a sister, age 1 year old and 6 years old. So that's what I'm talking about. These poor little children that were buried here were just, you know, forgotten in time, really, and the place was overgrown. Nobody knew that they were even buried here. So it's amazing that we can actually come and read this inscription today and pay our respects at this grave, these little children. And the parents, it looks like, are buried here. Rose, who died in 1950, and James, 1953. So we have 2 little children buried here who died a week apart, and then you have the two parents. Very, very tragic. 1901. Here lie the remains of, it looks like here, the name is Furlong, who departed this life May 1856, aged 60 years old. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about there, the before and the after. So this is what it looked like from day one. All this overgrowth here, and it's actually taller than me. And then if you pan around here where I'm walking, you can see the level he's come down to here, where he's actually cut all the overgrowth. So he's cut all that down. That's how tall it is to cut down. It's like a jungle. And then we have this beautiful chest tomb here as well. So this was completely covered also. You wouldn't even know it was here. We'll read the name on this. This is to the memory of J.G. Lewis Ernest Williamsdorf. Now I've never heard, if anybody knows that name, Prebentau Williamsdorf Richards, Esquire, who died the 15th of April 1834, aged 58 years old. Oh, camera got caught there, guys, in the overgrowth on that. To the memory of Henrietta, the beloved wife of Frederick Dayrolls. Now there's an unusual surname I've never heard of. Esquire, who died at Rahesbeck House in 1848, aged 34 years old. So there's some unusual surnames I've never heard of, and we wouldn't even know, as I was saying, that this grave was here. Nobody would know anything about it. I'll just pan around here and show you where he's cut out all that. Beautiful graves, beautiful old church, and we can see the bell tower on it just there. This is another old chest tomb. Now the top has to be cleaned on that, maybe brushed off. I don't have a brush with me at the moment. I just came in here today to kind of give you a little run around to show you what's been done here, but you can see the amount of overgrowth and how thick these sticks are here, and you know that he's cut down. So these will all be removed and cleared away, and this has all been done by one man from the very beginning. Don't forget, guys, one man has done this much cleaning already, all around there, with a weed whacker. Absolutely, it's just amazing that he's done the amount of work, and I will be helping him out because he deserves, and these people who are buried here deserve for their graves, to be their names read aloud again. Lovely old chest tomb there as well. Now down below, as we go and move on further, this area has been cut down here. Now in my other video I done here, I showed you an old crypt down here, and this is the area that Willie has cut down all this here, so we can actually walk down now. Before you needed to nearly break down everything with a stick and stuff to get down here, but now we can actually walk down to the door of the old crypt here, and this is the door of a very, very historical family, the Grogan family. Cornelius Grogan, I believe, is buried up at the foot of the church there. There's a big stone, I'll show you that. He was in the 1798 rebellion. He was hung drawn and quartered. His body was thrown in the River Slaney in Wexford. He was beheaded, and his head was put on a pike by Cromwellian soldiers. So I believe who is buried in this crypt is actually either the brother or the father of Cornelius Grogan, who owned it nearby Johnstown Castle Estate. There is coffins in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a look there to show you the coffins inside the old crypt and take the phone off the gimbal. Right guys, so we had a look inside there, the old crypt. Amazing to see those coffins, the Grogan family. But just beside the crypt on the wall here is another area that Willie has brushed back all the overgrowth from here. So the plaque from the Grogan family is actually on the wall here. So we'll read the plaque. I do have the torch. So it says on it here, near this place lie the remains of Anne Grogan, wife of John Grogan of Heathfield, County Wexford, daughter and heiress, maybe it means Heire something S. You can just see it there. If anybody knows that, please comment below. Of Chidley Cool in the County Limerick, niece to the Right Honourable and the Earl of Bellamore, Sir Eyre Cool KB, who departed this life on the 25th of October, and there we have a date, 1785, in the firm hope of a happy immortality in the 23rd year of her age. So there's a 23-year-old girl buried in that crypt, and one of the coffins actually in the crypt there is smaller than the other ones. So when I was here before, I was kind of contemplating about what it was, but it is a younger person's coffin. Now maybe back in the 1800s, you know, they were smaller back then, or you know, it looks like a child's coffin, but it says there she was 23 years old. So amazing guys to see that plaque there on the wall can now be read. All the overgrowth is gone, and we can actually see the door entrance of the crypt and the coffins that are in there, and some of them are kind of decaying away, you know, with time and weather as well and stuff like that. I do believe that this door a couple of years ago was put up there to stop vandals going in there. There was apparently Vandals, you know, young numbskulls I call them, trying to break into the crypt, kicking the door down and trying to break in and stuff. So they put this door up. You know, when we cover these places, we show respect. We look inside, you know, we try to show people what's involved in history. All this was completely, as I said, covered over. And thankfully to Willie, we can actually read and see all these inscriptions again. But it is amazing. Stunning old graveyard. And it should have never been really got to the stage of where it is now, you know, so overgrown. But progress has started, you know, thankfully. And we will see a completion of this old graveyard. So before I go, I'm just going to bring you over and show you that stone I was talking about, Cornelius Grogan, who was executed in 1798 on Wexford Bridge. Now, speaking to a local, it says that Cornelius Grogan was buried in an unmarked grave because his fellow men that was fighting with him, you know, in the war in 1798, they pulled his body from the River Slaney, so they wanted to bury his body as quick as they could, you know, so the Cromwellian soldiers wouldn't know anything about it. But this is the stone now. So people have said, they believe that Cornelius Grogan is actually buried underneath this stone here. So it says, in the cemetery lies the body of Cornelius Grogan, executed on Wexford Bridge in 1798, 28th of June, for his part in the rebellion of that year. So that was put there in his memory. He's supposed to be buried somewhere underneath that stone there. Or he could be buried in here in an unmarked grave. I guess we'll never know. But as time goes by and the more we can clean up here in this old graveyard, we can uncover more history and read more inscriptions. So from me here, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. There will be a future video of the progress that's been going on here as well of the old graveyard. I'll keep you up to date. But if you like this video, guys, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. I'm back in Ireland. I'll be covering a lot of Ireland and old graveyards and cemeteries now that I'm home again. Enjoyed Paris a lot, but I do love coming to these old places in Ireland as well, and I know you do as well because you really enjoy the videos. So from me here, guys, take care, talk to you soon, God bless.